Before we begin today's true camping horror stories, make sure you're somewhere safe, because what you're about to hear is real, disturbing, and still unexplained. And if you love scary stories, hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. My name's Aaron, and to this day, I still regret stepping inside Ridge Pine Forest. People around my hometown always said it was beautiful, quiet, peaceful. But nobody mentioned the one thing that should have been said first. Nothing in that forest makes a sound. No birds, no bugs, no wind. Just silence. I didn't understand how terrifying that silence could be until the night everything went wrong. It started on a cool Friday afternoon. Me and two of my closest friends, Tyler and Mason, decided to go on a camping trip before winter hits. We wanted something calm, something away from traffic, noise, and the stress of our busy week. Ridge Pine Forest was the perfect place. At least we thought so. As soon as we stepped out of the car, we noticed something strange. The air felt heavy, and even though trees were everywhere, nothing moved. Not a single leaf. Bro, it's too quiet, Mason said, laughing a little like he was trying to hide his discomfort. Tyler shrugged. Maybe it's just the weather. We walked deeper into the woods, and that's when I felt it, that weird pressure in your chest like something is watching you. But when I looked around, there was nothing. Not even a squirrel. Still, we kept walking. We chose a camping spot near a small clearing and set up our tents. The sun hadn't even gone down yet, but the sky looked darker than normal, as if the forest was swallowing the light. Around sunset, Tyler went to gather firewood. He came back 5 minutes later, pale and confused. Guys, I heard someone call my name. Me and Mason looked at each other. Who? I asked. I don't know. It sounded like you, Aaron, but I didn't call him. And Mason didn't either. Probably your imagination, I said, even though I didn't believe my own words. That's when Mason added. I heard it too earlier, someone whispering my name while we were unpacking. We all went quiet. For the first time since we arrived, I realized how wrong this place felt. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was unnatural. Dead. Like the forest itself was holding its breath. If you're still watching, let me know in the comments. Would you stay after hearing your name called in a silent forest, or run back to the car immediately? I'm curious how brave you guys are. When darkness finally covered the forest, it became even worse. Our campfire seemed too small, like it couldn't push back the shadows. And the silence, it kept growing heavier. The only sound we could hear was the fire crackling. We tried to joke around to keep the mood light, but none of us were really feeling it. Then something moved. Not in the trees, not around our tents. Behind me. I spun around immediately. Nothing. Just darkness. Did you guys see that? I whispered. Both of them shook their heads. But I wasn't imagining things. I know something moved. And then from the trees behind us, we heard it. Aaron. My name. Said in my voice, but stretched out, distorted, wrong. Tyler and Mason both jumped. That was you, Tyler whispered, frightened. No, I said. That wasn't me. We turned off the music, stopped talking, and just listened. And for the first time ever, we realized something else. The forest wasn't silent anymore. We could hear breathing. Deep, slow, heavy. Like something big was hiding just out of sight. We grabbed our flashlights and pointed them into the trees, And that's when we saw it. Not clearly, but enough to know something was there. A tall, thin silhouette. Too long, too still, too wrong. Is that a tree? Mason whispered. No tree has shoulders, Tyler said. The figure shifted slightly, and that's when branches cracked under its weight. This thing was real, and it was getting closer. I felt my legs trembling. My flashlight shook in my hand. None of us could speak. We just kept staring, waiting for the figure to move again. And it did. Suddenly. Fast. A blur. The figure sprinted to the left side of our campsite, so fast that our lights barely caught it. All three of us ran towards each other instinctively. "What the hell was that?" Tyler yelled. "Pack your stuff, now!" I shouted. But before we could grab anything, a voice came from inside the trees again. "Don't leave." The same voice. My voice. Except layered with something else underneath, like an echo from the ground. We froze. The figure stepped forward again. Closer. Close enough that we saw details. Its body was pitch black like a shadow pulled out from the ground. But its face looked like it was stretching into mine. The creature was copying me. My height, my voice, my face, but twisted, wrong. Like a broken reflection trying to become real. I don't remember what happened first. A scream, someone grabbing my arm, the flashlight dropping. It all happened too fast. But we ran. Not towards the road, not towards safety. Just away. Branches cut our arms, roots tripped our feet, but we didn't stop. We didn't even look back. All we heard was that distorted voice. "Stay with me." We kept running until we reached a small wooden structure. Some kind of old ranger cabin. We slammed the door behind us and locked it. Inside, the silence returned. But this time, we could hear soft footsteps circling the cabin. One step, two steps, pause, then three more. "Is it gone?" Mason whispered. And then a knock. 1, 2, 3. Slow, calm.
This next story comes from a man named Elias, and what he saw during a simple weekend camping trip still keeps him awake.
My name is Elias, and I swear on everything I love, what happened to me 2 summers ago was real. Not a dream, not a hallucination. Real. And it started on a weekend that was supposed to help me relax. My job was stressing me out, my phone kept buzzing with emails, and I just needed a break. So I grabbed my camping gear, food, and a small tent, and drove to a huge camping area deep inside Northwood National Forest. The reviews online said it was peaceful, perfect for clearing your mind. That was my first mistake, trusting reviews left by people who visited during the day. I reached the campground around 5 p.m. The sky was orange, the air was fresh, and everything seemed perfect. Families were packing up to leave, kids were running back to their cars, and the whole place was slowly emptying out. That was mistake number 2, being one of the last people there. By sunset, the area around my tent was completely empty. Just me, my campfire, and the forest, which looked darker than it should have been. At around 9 p.m., I heard it. Footsteps. Slow, heavy footsteps just outside the tree line. At first, I thought it was an animal, a deer maybe. But deer don't walk like that. They move light, confused, alert. These footsteps were different. like someone was pacing, back and forth, back and forth. I stood up and shined my flashlight toward the sound, but the trees blocked everything. "Hello?" I called out. The footsteps stopped immediately, like someone froze the moment I spoke. Then, after a few seconds, tap, tap, tap. Something tapped on a tree 3 times. Guys, if you heard footsteps pacing around your campsite at night and then someone tapped on a tree, what would you do? Would you stay calm or pack everything and leave? Tell me in the comments. It got quiet again, so I tried to relax. I sat next to the fire, ate some snacks, and tried to distract myself by watching videos on my phone. That's when I saw movement from the corner of my eye. Someone was standing in the tree line. Not walking, not crouching, just standing. I grabbed my flashlight again and pointed it at him, expecting a hiker or maybe a lost camper. But the moment the light hit his face, he turned and disappeared behind a tree. Fast. Too fast. I only saw him for less than a second, but it was enough to notice one detail. His face was pale, like paper. I felt my heart drop. A chill crawled down my back. "Hey! Are you okay?" I shouted. No response. Only that same tapping sound. Tap, tap, tap. Coming from a different direction this time. Like he moved. By midnight, the forest was dead silent. The kind of silence that hurts your ears. I got into my tent, zipped it up, and tried to sleep. Or at least pretend to. I left my flashlight next to me, just in case. After about 20 minutes, I heard it again. Footsteps. But right outside the tent. Very slow. Very heavy. The footsteps circled my tent once. Twice. 3 times. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. Then, a hand pressed against the fabric of my tent. I saw the shape clearly. A palm, 5 long fingers. It slid down the tent wall, scratching lightly as it moved. I could hear breathing now. Deep, shaky, wrong. I forced out the words, "Who's there?" And the hand stopped. Then I heard the voice. A low, slow whisper. "You're in my spot." My blood went cold. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if running would make things worse. Then the voice whispered again, but closer. "Come out." No chance. I stayed frozen. The breathing moved to the opposite side of the tent. Then I saw it, a face pressing against the fabric. Not fully, just an outline, but that was enough. The shape of the head looked wrong, too narrow, too long, like the skull wasn't shaped right. And then the face began to drag across the tent surface, sliding around to the front. I grabbed my flashlight and shined it directly at the tent wall, and the second the light hit it, the face snapped away, disappearing into the darkness. I heard footsteps sprinting away, but then they suddenly stopped, like the person or thing froze mid-run. Complete silence again. Around 2:30 a.m., I finally calmed down enough to sit up. I thought maybe whatever it was had left. But then I heard something that made my entire body tense. Zip. Someone was unzipping my tent. Very slowly, very gently. I grabbed the zipper from the inside and pulled it down hard, sealing it shut again. But the moment I did, zip, it started opening from the top. I pulled it down again. Zip! It started from the bottom, like someone was testing me, playing with me, toying with me. I yelled, "Stop!"
and everything instantly went silent again. I sat there shaking, gripping the zipper for dear life. If someone tried to unzip your tent from the outside at 2:30 a.m., would you fight, run, or freeze? Comment your answer. I want to know how brave my viewers are. I don't know how long I sat that way, staring at the zipper. But at some point, I started to get sleepy. My eyes felt heavy. My head dipped. And then, I woke up because I felt something touch my foot, inside the tent. Something cold, something moving. I jerked up and pointed the flashlight, and nearly screamed. A man was inside the tent, sitting at the far corner, his knees pulled to his chest, his head tilted, his face pale, his eyes wide open, staring straight at me. Except he had no mouth. Smooth skin where his mouth should have been. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. For a full 5 seconds, we just stared at each other. And then his head began to tilt sideways. Slowly, slowly, too slowly. And I heard the whisper again, but the man's face wasn't moving. "You took my spot." The whisper wasn't coming from him. It was coming from behind the tent. Something else was outside, and the man inside the tent wasn't the one whispering. I kicked the pale man in panic and crawled out of the tent as fast as I could. I didn't look back. I didn't stop to grab anything. I sprinted toward the car, heart pounding, lungs burning. I turned back once. Big mistake. The man with no mouth was crawling out of my tent. Not walking, crawling, fast, like a spider. Behind him, something tall was standing in the trees, watching, waiting. I fumbled with my car keys, my hand shaking violently. I finally unlocked the door, jumped in, and slammed the lock button. When I looked up, the no-mouth man was standing right in front of my car, his face inches from the windshield, his head tilted in that same unnatural way. And then, slowly, a mouth began forming on his smooth skin. Not opening, forming. Skin stretching, tearing slightly, until a dark, crooked smile appeared. I started the car. The creature outside didn't move. It just smiled. Wider, wider, until the skin on its cheeks tore. I hit the gas. The creature didn't chase me. It simply stepped backward, disappearing into the darkness, as if melting into the forest. I didn't stop driving until I reached the main road. I didn't go home. I drove straight to a motel and stayed there until sunrise. When I returned to the campsite the next day with park rangers, my tent was still there, but everything inside was shredded. Claw marks covered the walls, and the ground around it was filled with long, deep footprints. But here's the part that chills me the most. The ranger told me something quietly, away from the other campers. "You're not the first person to see that man." I asked what he meant. He said, "Every year someone reports a pale man near the tents, always the same description. He doesn't belong here, but he always comes back."